So fraction expressions will be using, we are not going to just talking about numbers, because this is a basic math, right? So first one, let's recall a couple formulas for the fractions. We added two fractions together, and there are certain rules you have to follow, okay? And first of all, you know that if they have a common denominator, if a over d plus or minus c over d, right? In that case, d means denominate. Then you just needed to do the addition or subtraction for the numerator. Okay, but that's the basic, right? We know that if like a 2 over 3 plus 5 over 3, and that would be 2 plus 5, it's a 7 over 3. Just added the two numbers together. But it without common denominator, a over b, and plus c over d. A over b is c over d. So b and d are different, right? So I can give you the formula, but let's figure out how do we get this formula. This is going to be you make them to have a common denominator. So a times d, b times d, and plus and the b times d and the b times c. So you see this common fact. Okay, this common fact can be cancelled out. Then go back to the original expression. Okay. So now you have a common denominator. So BD is a common denominator. Then AD plus BC. Okay. Similarly, yeah, AD plus BC is actually like a cross product. You see AD and the BC. So similarly, you will get, B and the D and the AD minus BC. Okay, that's minus. Okay. So so this is one formula. Another formula is a division. Okay. So if A over B divided by C over D. Okay. And how do we simplify this? This is a fractions over fractions. This is fractions over fractions. Okay. So this another way you can express this is use division notation. Okay. That would be turn this upside down, d over c. No, this is just still c over d. Okay. But if it's division, then you have to change it to the multiplication. So the d over c, then actually the AD and BC. So this is the rule we follow, And of course, the multiplication is just a direct product. So A times C and B times D. So those are the two formulas for the division and the multiplication. So I'll give you an example, right? 1/2 divided by 3 over 2. Right, how do you simplify? So you can, this sometimes written divided by like that, 3 over 2. So you change the division to the multiplication. So you have to turn the fraction, the denominator, upside down. So it'll be 2 over 3. Okay. Then do the regular multiplication, 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 1 times 2, 2 times 3. And you have a common fact. So that's going to be 1/3. Okay. This is a simplification. Okay. Yeah, it's a simplification. Now, some are special case. For example, A over B and divided by C. Okay. Divided by C. C is just only one number. In that case, you can view it as a fraction C over 1. Okay. Then you do the same way. That will be AB and the 1 over C. So then you get A and the B and C. So you just basically just move C to the denominator where B is. Okay. So this is another rule. Okay. And That's a special case, right? So how about another special? So make sure you don't C over D, right? So the denominator here is a fraction, the numerator is not, just only A. So in that case, you can keep A here and then turn upside down D over C, right? It's a reciprocal of C over D. And then A can be viewed as A over 1, right? And D over C. So you multiply them out, you get A D over C, okay? So let's do one exercise. Like 2 over 5 over 4, right? How to simplify this fraction? It's a number over fraction, okay? Number over fraction. So that is going to be 2 times, keep it, right? 4 over 5, always like, when change division to multiplication and turn the fraction denominator upside down, okay? So it's a 4 over 5. Then 2 times 4 is 8, 8 over 5. Now, do not, the advanced mathematics, do not express like 1 and 3 over 5. This is easy to be confused, like 1 time over 5. So we do not use this notation, okay? But maybe you learn that in, in 4th grade or 3rd grade. But this is not a good notation because in the future, when we do when we say A times B, we do not like A times A cross B. We simply just write AB. So AB, then here like 1 and 3 over 2, 3 over 5, looks like 1 times 3 over 5, right? All right, so now let's do some exercise, okay? So for example, simplify 1 over x plus, 4 over 3x, something like that, okay? So you can use the formula, but if you know the idea, how to combine those two terms together, all you have to do is just to make them to have a common denominator, okay? You make them to have a common denominator. And how do you make them to have a common denominator? Well, see, 1 of x, right? 1 of x I can multiply by 3, and here's 1 times 3, and 3 times 1, 3 times 3 times x. Okay, now they have a common denominator, so it's 3x is there, and 3 plus 4, and which is 7 over 3x. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is the first. And second, okay, if we have 1/3 of x plus 1/3 of, x over 3 and x over 6, okay? Now, these are two fractions, right? X over 3 plus x over 6. So we have to make them a common denominator, right? So you can, so I did not use the formula, okay? Because otherwise you make the number much larger, the denominator. Just to say, look at 3 and 6. I think I just needed to multiply the first fraction, the numerator and denominator by 2. So it's 2x over 6. Then I have both 6. Yeah. So I got 6, 2x plus x is going to be 3x. Then 3 over 6 can be simplified to the 1/2. Okay. Okay, awesome. Welcome. Okay. All right. So now let's do the next problem. And I probably want you to do that. Okay, x over 2x minus 1 plus, okay, 3 over 2x. Yeah, let's try this. Combine them into one fraction. Okay. Yeah, combine them into one fraction. Can you do that? So you look at the two denominators, x and a 2x, right? x and the 2x, so they do not have a common denominator. So you make them to have a common denominator. Right? So you get 2x, 2 times 2x minus 1 plus 3 over 2x. Okay, then they have a common denominator. I can add them together. Just add the two numerators together. You have to, of course, you have to simplify, right? The numerator. So you multiply this out. You get 2 times 2 is 4x. 2 times negative is negative 2. And then finally, we get 4x plus 1 over 2x. So that's the final expression. Did you get? Oh, you have a question? Yeah. When you type on the screen, yeah, just like Casey did, Casey John, yeah, just put a parenthesis there. Parenthesis 4x plus 1 parenthesis and over 2x. Yeah, that's a standard typing. Okay. Michael Paul, you should, combine them, negative 2 plus 3, okay, into 1. Combine them into, okay. So, yeah. All right, so let's try a slightly different problems. All right. Now, sometimes we have fractions on one side, right? X and 3 minus 2x and plus 2, something like that. Now, in this case, the first term is a fraction, the second term is just integer. Okay. How do you combine them? How do we combine them into one fraction? Well, you can change the integer to a fraction. Okay, you must have an x in the denominator. You must have an x in the denominator. So, yeah, 3 minus 2x over x. At the very beginning, you can say 2 over 1. But I think you can directly write 2x over x. Right? X can be canceled out. Then they have a common denominator. Then you add them together. Okay? So you will get x, 3 minus 2x, sorry, not 3x. Yeah, 3 minus 2x and plus 2x. And then the numerator is simplified to 3. So yeah, you'll be surprised, the 3 over x. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to do the following. Add those two together, okay, into one fraction. Anyone have answers now? Michael, you have two terms here, x. Okay, if x plus 1 is on the numerator, you have to put a parenthesis. You cannot just say x plus 1 over x. It looks like it's still the sum of the two terms, two fractions. Right? Also, you do not simplify. Okay, add the two fractions together. Add two fractions together. You have to have them have a common denominator, then combine it. Okay. So what do you get here? X over, right? And the 1 can be written as x minus 2 over x minus 2. Okay? Then you have a common denominator, right? So you get 2 plus x minus 2 over x plus 2. So just x over x minus 2. It's not 1. Obviously, it's not 1 because it's already 1 plus something, right? Kevin, 1 plus something, then equal to 1. That's impossible. So when you look at, yeah. Okay, another way to do is, remember we have a formula, right? A over B plus C over D. It's going to be BD and AD plus BC. That's cross product, right? So you can do the following. It's a 1 is 1 over 1, right? That's a simple way to do it. So it's going to be x minus 2 times 1. That's the denominator. And the cross product, 2 times 1 plus x minus 2 times 1. It's cross product. Then you can use that formula, and you will get 2x minus 2, so just x. So you get that quickly. Okay? Yeah. An integer, like one term, right? You can make it as a fraction. Okay? Any number a can be written as a times b over b. Okay? b can cancel it out. So you can choose any b. Doesn't matter. As long as you can make them have a common denominator with another fraction, then that's fine. Right? Right. All right, let's do one more problem, okay? So 3 minus x over x plus, okay, plus 4. Okay. Right? Now, can you combine them? Yeah, today's topic is about algebraic, fractional expressions, simplify. Right? So we use those formulas, adding two together, adding two fractions together, and how to combine. Okay. So you can express 4 as 4x over x. Then they have the common denominator. Okay. So you will get 3 minus x plus 4x over x. And this is 3 minus. Okay. So you will get 3 plus 3x. That's it. Over x. Yeah, Michael, your expression is good. Okay. The answer is correct. All right, let's try a slightly different type of problems. 1 over x squared over y plus 1 over x y squared. Okay. Now look at these two fractions. Okay. You will see that they have a different denominators. How to combine them into one fraction? You can use a formula, right? You can also try and just make them have a common denominator. Okay, so that would be 1 over x. I think right hand side there is y squared. The left hand side that's just only y. So I have to multiply by y. Right? So then I get x squared y squared. And then you look at x, y squared, I need the x here. So x times 1, x squared, y squared. You see, if we are multiplying the numerator and denominator by x, then I get x squared, y squared in the denominator. Then I have a common denominator. Okay? So the numerator is just the y plus x. But we always express x first and y second. That's the tradition. So x plus y and over x squared plus y squared. Right? Okay. So this is how do we do it. So I want you to do the following. Just 1 over x plus 1 over y. Please combine them into one fraction. Okay. Can you do that? Yeah, 1 of x plus 1 of y, just combine them. Kelvin, your answer is wrong. Redo it. Yeah, Crystal, you're right. So you know why do you make mistakes, right? You have to find out. Okay, you cannot just numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So a over b plus c over d is not going to be bd plus ac. This is not product. This is a addition. Okay, so those students who got the 1 over x times the y probably use the wrong formula, right? And not the wrong formula. If you use the problem, it's different. This is a sum, okay, of 2 terms. All right, so let's see how to do that. Well, you can use a formula, or you can just mix them and have a common denominator. I needed to multiply the first term, first fraction, numerator denominator by y. And here I have to multiply the numerator denominator by x. Then I have x times y. Then I have a common denominator. Then I get y plus x and x over y. Okay, you can switch the order. Right, you can switch the order. So we try to make them have a common. If you don't want to this for us, yeah. If you don't understand this part, but then you have to use a formula. The formula says that the product of the 2 denominators and the cross product of the cross product of those 2 terms, right? And then you still get y plus x over x. Okay. So here we're using the formula. Okay. But Charles, yeah, don't forget to put a parenthesis around that if you type in on computer when you type it, because you should have 1 single term on the numerator. Yeah. Okay. Now sometimes, okay, you may have a different denominators. Okay, it will be up to you to whether you use a formula directly or you try to make them have a common denominator. So then you simplify. Okay, so look at those two fractional expressions. Right, one denominator is x, other denominator x minus 1. So they're different. So how do you make them have a common denominator? Right? With the left-hand side, the first term you have to multiply x by x minus 1. Okay? So x minus 1. And here x plus 1 and x minus 1. Okay? With the right-hand side, you have to multiply by x. But you have to do this both, the numerator and denominator, xx. Otherwise, they're not going to be equal. Okay. So now they have a common denominator, right? Okay. So have a common denominator, then you have x plus 1, x minus 1 minus x squared. But the numerator right now is still complicated. Okay. The numerator now is still complicated. And so you have to simplify. How do you simplify? X plus 1 times x minus 1. Do you still remember the formula? It's going to be x squared minus 1. So the x squared cancels out. You get negative 1 over x minus 1. Okay. Now, Austin says that he don't understand this part. I just said that, well, if you have a over b, you can change it to a times another factor, any factor. And those are equal. Okay, you just enumerate the numerator multiplied by x and denominator also multiplied by x. X is some term. Okay, so then you change the appearance of the fraction, but you do not change the essential value. So they're still same. Okay. To do that, then you can make them to have a common denominator. Okay. Now you can also use a formula x plus 1 over x minus x over x minus 1. The formula says that, first of all, it will be the product to denominator. Then you have a so-called cross product. Okay, the cross product. So x plus 1 times x minus 1, then minus x squared, right? X plus 1 times x minus 1 and x times x squared. So you get the same answer. So after you simplify, you still get negative 1 over x times x minus 1. Okay. But, yeah. Right, so let's try another one. Okay, so a minus 1 over ab. Yeah, I'm going to put ab here. Minus plus, okay, 1 minus b over b. Okay, so let's try this. I'm waiting for you to give me an answer, okay? All right, what do you got? So be careful when you simplify, okay? Oh, finally, Edward gave me an answer. Good, good, Edward. Okay, you use a parenthesis, okay, for a minus 1. Okay, so look at both sides, right? The left-hand side of the denominator is a times b. Another denominator here is just b. So you have to make them have a common denominator. So ab minus 1 over ab. And then here's ab, and this is a times b minus 1. And then 1 minus b. Right? Because then a cancels out, you still can get b minus 1 minus b over b. Then you can add them together. So AB minus 1. Remember, you have to show all the details and when you do the homework. So if you make mistakes, you have an answer key I will give to you. If the answer key says it's different from your one, and you have to double check. If you still cannot figure out where the mistakes, and your parents can quickly figure out where the mistakes. If you do not show the steps, nobody knows what's going on. Okay. So then you correct the mistake, and next time you will avoid it. Okay, you need a practice. Okay, AB. Okay, so you do the computation. A times 1 minus B is AB minus 1 plus A and minus AB, right? Minus AB. A times B is AB. Right? Then AB canceled out. So you get negative 1 plus A over AB. Now, you can also write this A minus 1. Okay? Yeah, it looks better sometimes, A minus 1. So you only have three symbols, a, minus, and b, 1. Otherwise, you have a minus 1 plus a, right? Or negative 1 plus a. Okay. All right, so the next problem, I hope you will, yeah, you're able to combine them into one fraction. Okay, x squared minus y squared over y and plus y. Can you do that? Combine them into one fraction. All right, anyone? I have a couple students show me the answer again. Okay. All right, so what you can do is you make y as y over 1. Because this can also be like a y squared over y. Then they have a common denominator, right? So you get x squared minus y squared plus y squared over y, and this y squared cancelled out. Then you get x squared over y. Yeah, x squared over y. All right. Okay, let's try slide the wheel stuff. Okay, x over y minus y over x. Let's combine them into one fraction. Okay, how do you do that? Well, they do not have a common denominator. X and y totally different things, just an apple and orange. Right. So you have to add the x, right? Now multiply y by x for the first denominator. And then for the second denominator, just x, you have to multiply by y. So you get x over y, x, then x squared, right? Minus xy, and here's y squared, right? Y squared over x, right? Then they have the common denominator, and which is going to be x squared minus y squared over x times y. Okay? All right. So now, if we can do this, let's try this. X plus y over x minus, and x minus 1 over x plus 1. Okay, try this. Okay, simplify, okay, please. Anyone has answers now? And now you have x plus 1 over x minus 1, right? X over 1. So you can use a formula. If you use a formula, denominator will be product of two denominators. The numerator is cross product, right? Cross product. Yeah, cross product. So you will get x plus 1. I'm sorry, yeah. X plus 1 squared. Oh, this is a x1 plus square minus x minus 1 squared. Okay. Now, it's not easy to simplify the numerator. Okay. So you will get x squared, x plus 1 squared. Do you remember? This is going to be x squared plus 2x plus 1. But the numerator, okay, the numerator, here x minus 1 squared, you have to put a parenthesis when you square it first. So x squared minus 2x plus 1. Then you can remove the parenthesis. Okay, then you can remove the parenthesis. Okay, so when you remove the parenthesis, be careful. Negative will be negative x squared, negative 2x will be positive 2x. Negative times positive 1 is negative 1. So now x squared is gone, negative 1, positive 1 is gone. So actually you get 4x over x minus 1 and x plus 1. This problem is very complicated. Right. So remember, we have a x plus y squared minus x minus y squared. And eventually you only get, you get 4x times y, okay, after you expand it. Okay. We do need to know quickly, we do need to know the formula. This is x squared plus 2xy and the y squared. And we also should know that, okay, if we change the sign for the y. Okay. So those are the very special formula. If you memorize it, you don't need to do a computation over again, you just write down. Okay? So you do need those two formulas. All right. And let's go back to a little bit simpler problem. 2x minus 1 over 2x, and the minus 3x minus 1 over 3. Right, 3x. Okay. So let's work out this. Okay. Yeah, let's work out this. Yeah, what do you get? Are you sure? Oh, double check. Right. Well, they do not have a common denominator. The difference is 2 and 3, right? So you have to multiply the first one by 3. And the second one has to multiply by 2, right? Okay. Right? Then The denominator is going to be 6x, no problem. So let's multiply this up, right? So 2x minus 1 minus 3x minus 1. How do you multiply them out? It's going to be 6x minus 3, right? Still put the parenthesis here, don't forget, okay? And the 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, right? Then you remove the parenthesis, okay? Then you remove the parenthesis, 6x minus 3, and then minus 6x plus 2. So 6x is gone. You get negative 1, 6x. Add what? Good job. Okay? So negative 1 over 6x. Negative over 6x. Okay? Okay. Another problem. 1 plus x over x minus minus y minus, okay? Minus y minus over y. Okay? So please work out this. All right, anyone have an idea? All right, so let's try this, right? The same problem here. We do not, we can use a formula, right? So just product of two denominators, then the cross product, right? The cross product, this will be first, right? Then 1 plus x over times y. Then that one will be minus x, y minus 1, okay? Then you have to be very careful when you remove the parentheses. So 1 plus x times y will be y plus x times y. And then other one is x, other one is other one will be x times y minus x. Okay, right? X times y minus 1 will be x times y minus x. Then you remove the parentheses, y plus xy minus xy and plus x. So x times y, y times x is going to be gone. So you get y plus x, so x plus y. Okay, so that is a simplifying term. Okay, right, did you get this? Right, let's try one more, okay? I'm going to put here 2a, okay, and the 3a minus 1 minus 3b, okay, and minus 3b, S3 is 3b, okay, and 3b minus 1. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, please work on this. Come on, are you done? Any answers? The only difference is here, you see, in the A and the B, right? A, 2A and 2B. So that do not have a common denominator. You have to make them to have a common denominator. That you have to make them have a common denominator. So I have a 2B, 2 is here, right? It's okay. 2A, I needed to multiply by B, right? And here, I needed to multiply by A. Then I have a 2AB in the denominator. We have common denominator, right? 2AB, 2BA. Then I can simply write 2AB here, and then let's copy this part. Okay? But then you have to simplify the numerator, simplify the numerator. Okay, so you have to do the multiplication, right? This times that, right? So 3AB, and 1 times B is just B. Don't forget parenthesis again. So 3AB, so 3AB, and minus A. Okay, so now 3AB is gone, right? So what you get is 3AB and plus A here, 2AB. So 3AB is gone, and the A minus B would be the numerator. So it's a simplified. A minus B would be the numerator. Okay. So let me repeat again, right? If A over B minus C over D, right? And we were told that you can use this formula to combine them. But how do you get this formula? Because we make them as have a common denominator. And here is B and D and B and C. So this D, you see, the idea is very simple, just, and that's the D, right? And here I have, right? So this is addition term, right? I make the second term become BC and BD. Make the first fraction as AD and BD. Then you have BD in the denominator. They have the common denominator. Then you can say here's BD and AD minus BC. Okay, that's how so we just use this idea to some problem. To do some problems, we do not use a formula in general here. Just make them a common, right? So for example, if we wanted the addition 4, 5 over 4 minus 7 over 6, right? How do you combine them together, right? Into one fraction, right? So you can do the following. And the best way to do is 5, 4 is 2 times 2. 6 is 2 times 3. Now you compare 2 times 2, 2 times 3. I think in order to make them have a common denominator, what I'm going to do is I need a 3 here, multiply by 3. I need to multiply 2, right? Then I can solve the problem, okay? Then I have a common denominator. So that would be 12. And that's a 15 minus 14, which is 1 over 12. Yeah, so if you know how to do this, then you do the same thing, right? So you have a 5, here's x, and here's 7 over y, right? So x and y do not have a, maybe I can put a z here, yz, right? So xz and yz, how do you make them have a common denominator? Okay, so I will left-hand side xz, right-hand side yz. So I have a y missing, so put the y here. Yz, x is missing, I put the x here, right? Right? So now you have xyz, both have the common denominator. Then you can add them together. So xyz and the 5y minus 7x. Okay. Right? It's the same, right? So those are similar. The first one is just numbers. Now we have to deal with the variables. Okay. Now let's do, let's try to add those three together into one fraction. Right, into one fraction. All right, so we have to do one by one, right? These two first. Okay. So you will get x times y cross product, right? 1 times y is y, x times y is x. Okay. So now the left hand side is xy, right hand side is just z. These two denominators are quite different. So what I'm going to do is I use this, okay? And then y, and then plus 1 over z. I'm going to add the terms. I need to put a z here. Z is missing. But here I have to put xy, right? Okay. Then I have x, y, z in the denominator. So I got x, y, z. Okay. Then I multiply this out, x times z and y times z, and have x times y. Add them together. Okay. The numerator is going to be, if it's this multiplied, right? X times z is xz, y times z is yz, and here x times y. Okay. Right. So let's try this. Who can give me the answer quickly? Whoa, that's so fast. Right. Right. So it's what he said. The reason is that one half plus 1/3 plus 1/6 is going to work. Okay. So you can try this, right? X and actually is going to be 6. So that'll be 3, right? And here you get common denominator, 2x, right? And here's 1x. So now you have a common denominator, right? So you get 6, 3x plus 2x plus 1, 1x, it's 6x over 6, that is x. Okay. The very last problem, okay, which is 1 of x minus 1 of y divided by x minus 1. All right, so fractions of fractions. Okay, how do you do that? Yeah, we did not do the fractions of fractions many times. Okay, so how do you do that? You combine them, the numerator. 1 of x minus 1 of y will be x times y and the y minus x, right? So you have fractions over fractions. So how do you simplify this? Okay, so this will be y minus x over x times y and divided by x minus y. So multiply by 1 over x minus y. Okay, remember, a over b can be written as a times 1 over b. Okay. So now this will be x times y, x minus y, and y minus x. Can we simplify it further? The answer is yes. Y minus x, x minus y that differ by a sign. Okay, this x is negative x minus y. Right? And this x minus y is cancelled out. Finally, I get negative 1 over x times y. Right. Yeah, that's what we can get. All right, so we did enough exercise. Okay, I hope you will find the time and practice the homework and continue. Okay, you have to finish the basic math class. Okay.